Hey guys, what's going on? It's another idol. We are back inside of Destiny, and today we're going to be talking about PvP, and specifically I'm going to be putting together a guide for you guys about control and how to successfully win at control. Now, if you have a pre-made fire team, you have one thing over matchmaking, which is communication. If you've got your friends together and you follow these tips and tricks, you should increase your game considerably. You might not win every time, but you will notice that your win rate will go up. However, if you're running with randoms, it's going to be a little... So what you do in control is you control zones for additional point bonuses for your team. And, you know, see if any of your other fire team are in that chat and they're willing to talk to you. If they are, you can better communicate with your teammates and you have a much higher chance of successfully winning at control. Now we've got that out of the way, let's go over some general information about control. You capture and hold the zones, and then you rack up points by killing the enemy team and getting point bonuses. You get point bonuses for a lot of things in control, and what you get point bonuses for are zone neutralized, zone control ×1. So this is holding one zone in control. You get zone control ×2. Which is holding 2 zones in control. You get zone control ×3, which is for holding 3 zones in control. You also get a bonus for capturing a zone assault, which is killing enemies while they are neutralizing or capturing a zone in control. And you also get points for zone defense, which is killing enemies that are in or near an allied control zone. You also get points for the standard stuff like assists, super use, etc, etc. These also count towards the overall points of control, much like they do in other playlists like Clash, Skirmish, etc. It is very important to note that your teammates must work together. If more people capture a zone, you are going to get more points for your team, period. You get 75 points for capturing a zone, but if you're the only one on that point that's capturing that zone, only one person is going to get 75 points. Whereas if all 6 people capture a zone, you're going to get a total of 450 points, because these points stack. So what you'll notice about control is there are 3 zones that you can control. There are the 2 zones that the 2 teams spawn at, A and C, and then in the middle of the map there is point B. The overall point of control is the first team to 20,000 points. Now, a lot of the maps are pretty unbalanced. Take Firebase Delphi, for example. If you spawn at zone C, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to win the match purely because of the unbalancing in the map. However, if you don't capture C and you go straight to zone A and you capture A, you can then capture B and successfully defend those 2 points with ease. If an enemy team comes and they are trying to cap A, what you want to do is you want to go back and defend A and keep control of zones A and B, and then just keep continuing to kill the enemy team. You don't want C on Firebase Delphi. Now, let's take this map that I'm currently playing on in this footage. We are currently playing on Burning Shrine, and a lot of people like to go for C and B. Now, okay, they're both inside, but C is further away from B than A is. And you also get the advantage of the glare from the sun if you capture A and B. If you keep continuing to watch the footage, you'll see that once A is capped, it is much easier to take control of B and keep the enemy team away from B, rather than it would be if we had captured C and then we're trying to defend C and B. Everybody just gets too scattered. Now, this also brings me up to another point, is you don't want to capture all 3 zones. It is unnecessary for you to capture all 3 zones. Your fire team will be too thinly spread across all of the zones. It's much better to capture 2 zones and then continue to kill the enemy team and rack up those points. You're going to get many more points than the enemy team purely because you're controlling 2 zones and they're only controlling 1. So you're going to get that 2 times bonus. You're going to get more points per kill purely because of the bonus. What also happens is with controlling 2 zones, you push their spawn to the 3rd zone that you haven't captured. This allows you to dominate that area around their spawn point. However, you've got to be aware that you can't push too far into their spawn point, otherwise their spawns will change and their spawn will swap over to one of the other zones. Most likely zone A if you push too far into zone C, and vice versa. So let's take the Burning Shrine, for example. If we were controlling them, their spawn at control point C, and we push too far in, their spawn would flip, and then they'd be able to capture zone A. And in turn, what they would do is they would flip the game on its head, and then they'd be able to capture B a lot easier and control our spawn. The best example of this is Firebase Delphi. This map is incredibly unbalanced for control. Like I said earlier in the video, if you spawn at point C, you're going to have a real tough time flipping the spawns and winning the game without some real teamwork. So if you do spawn at point C, what you want to do is you want to ignore point C altogether and just run for point A. There will be a fierce battle for point A because the odds are the enemy team are clued on. They know that point A is a good point to hold. It's a very good spawn. If you capture point A, then the enemy team will start spawning outside, and they'll have to either jump through the window, run up the ramp, or loop all the way around the map to try and get through the doors at point A. Now this is highly ineffective for the enemy team to do, so they're going to try and defend point A and point B as best as they can. But if you do capture point C and you're trying to capture point B as well, you're going to have a very bad time. I don't think I've ever played a match of Control on Firebase Delphi where I've started on point C, I've captured point B, and I've kept those control points and we've actually won. It's just impossible to do. So the main important thing to take from this video is control 2 zones, know the maps as well. You want to know which 2 points to control. On Firebase Delphi, for example, it is points A and B. On the Burning Shrine, it is points A and B. On Blind Watch, it is zones B and C. Shores of Time, you want to control B and C also. Twilight Gap is a weird map, but I like to control C and B. And Rusted Lands, I like to control A and B. It's also important to note that if the enemy team are trying to capture one of the zones that you want, go back and capture it again. Engage in a firefight and take it back from their control. This is the whole point of the game. It's not so much about controlling all 3 zones, it's about having the control of the majority of the map and then killing the enemy team and controlling their spawn. If you follow these tips, you're going to have a much higher success rate in Control, you're going to get more kills, and you're probably going to improve your game quite a bit. And on that note, I'm going to leave it there for today, guys. I want to know if I've forgot to mention anything in this video, or you've got some other tips that you'd like to share with people. Let me know in the comments. Let everybody else know your Control secrets. I've just made this video because of the Iron Banner frustration of the week. A lot of people don't seem to grasp the concept of Control, so I felt that this video was necessary to help, you know, explain the concept of Control and how it works. So on that note, again, I'm going to have to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time back inside of Destiny.